Hello, friends. Cam here from the Nerdstravaganza podcast, bringing to you yet another board game review. Today, we are going to be talking about Splendor, the high action, fast paced game of gem purchase, distribution, and trading. It's a pretty fun game. I'm going to get into the nuts and bolts of it. Comes in this nice box. These are the rules here. Pretty small, pretty small rule book. Not too much to it. It's a pretty simple game. Let's go through it, and I'll let you know the basic rules, and then we'll go into a little bit of the gameplay. So, as you can see in front of you, we have our resource cards, we have our resource chips or tokens, and our resource decks. They go in order of ascending value from green, gold, blue, all the way up to the top here. So these are the resource cards. There's 5 different resource cards. There's rubies, sapphires, onyx, emeralds, and diamonds. Corresponding to that, there are also the corresponding chips of onyx, rubies, diamonds, emeralds, all the same as on the card. Just as a side note, these are really well-made chips. They're akin to some very very well-made, I guess, poker type chips that you might find in a nice poker set. They have a nice weight. They have a nice feel to them. Very nice components. Over here we have the gold chips. These are sort of wild cards. They can be any of the different any of the different jewels that you want them to be when you're purchasing cards, and we'll get into that in a second. Also, we'll get into how you can acquire these in a second as well. So as you can see, as we said, it goes increasing from top to bottom in increasing value. Down here, the green cards are the lowest value. Here in the middle, the gold are sort of medium value. And at the top, the blue cards are of higher value. And when I say value, I mean in victory points. The victory points are denoted here in the top right. You can see here in the top right, that would be 5 victory points, and that would be a sapphire card for your bank. And this would be the cost down here, the cost in actual chips, 7 diamond chips, or 3 blue chips. Now, the way that you play the game is you find out who is the youngest player at the table. This game is only 2 to 4 players, so if you have 4 players, the youngest player would start first. That person would then have several options. They could do one of 3 things. They could reserve a card, which means they could take one of these gold coins. Say they really wanted this sapphire worth 5 victory points. They can take it. They could put it down next to them, and they've reserved that card. No one else can get it. The card then gets replenished, and it's the next player's turn. If they didn't want to do that, they could go ahead and just take 3 of the jewel values of the jewel chips, but they have to be different. So I could take, let's say, for argument's sake, I took a blue, a green, and a diamond. So I would put those in front of me as my little bank of jewels, and then that would be my turn. Now, conversely, I could take 2 of one jewel type. So instead of getting 3 jewels, I would only get 2 in that turn, but I would get 2 of the same type. So say I wanted 2 blue chips, I could go ahead and take those, put those in front of me. Now it's important to note that you can only take 2 jewels off of a stack if there's at least 4 in a stack. So if you had 5 like this, no problem, but if you had 3 in the stack, you wouldn't be able to take 2 off of that stack. So, say we've gone a few rounds, and I've ended up now with 2 blues in front of me, 2 diamonds, and 2 emeralds. When it comes to my turn, I can do a couple things. I can go ahead and buy this onyx card for 2 diamonds and 2 emeralds, which would give me an onyx card in my bank. Or I could go ahead and buy this ruby, which is 2 sapphires and 1 emerald. Now, it's important now to talk about the nobles. There, you can see that there's these nobles standing up here, and each one of them has these numbers next to them. 3 black, 3 red, 3 diamond, or 4 diamonds and 4 blue, 4 sapphire. The way that you get these nobles and their corresponding, each one is worth 3 victory points, is by getting this amount of these resource cards. So if I'm the first player to get 4 sapphire cards and 4 diamond cards, I then acquire this noble and the 3 accompanying victory points. So if I'm thinking long term and I want to try to acquire some of these nobles, I notice that only one of these nobles has onyx here, and 2 of them have red, have rubies. So I'm going to go ahead and go for these, go for the ruby card. Also, the ruby card is going to cost me 1 less coin. It's only going to cost me 2 blues and 1 emerald, as opposed to 2 emeralds and 2 diamonds. So I would pay my 2 sapphires and my 1 emerald into the bank, and then I would acquire this card. Now, it's a great thing to have these cards, of course. I mean, that's how the game is built. It's because you're building up sort of a little engine, a little resource engine. So now, every time I go to buy something, this is going to count as 1 of these coins. So I won't that's how you can end up buying, these progressively more expensive cards. Because there is a strict limit of 10 coins. You can never have more than 10 of these coins in front of you at any one time. So if you say you had 8 coins, you can take 2 more. You can actually take 3 coins on your turn, but then you would have to discard 1 if you wanted to shuffle up the different colors you had. So say I had this red coin in front of me, and then obviously this card would get replenished. Say I had this red card in front of me, and then in some successive rounds, I ended up with some greens and a blue. So now I'm targeting this sapphire card. It would only cost me 3 green coins and 1 blue coin, and then I don't need a red coin because I already have my red card. So then now I have in my bank a red coin, a ruby, and a sapphire. Then of course this would replenish, and so on and so forth. And you would just build up, build up, build up, build up until you've got a bunch of resource cards in front of you, and you can start buying the mid-level cards and the higher tier cards. And of course, as you go up, there are no victory points for any of these cards, but the victory points go up in value. You see 2s and 1s here, and then of course 3, 4s, and 5s up at the top deck here. Now the object of the game is to get to 15 victory points. The first person to 15 victory points is sort of the winner. Not really, though. The way that you calculate, the way that you find the winner is the person that has the most victory points on the last turn. So if I was the first player and I got to 15 victory points, the other players would still get a chance to take 1 more action so that everyone has the same amount of actions to try to either equal me in victory points or exceed me. So say I end up with 15 victory points, but Joe here to my right, who's the last player, ends up on his last action getting to 15 or 16, then he's either tied me or gone ahead of me. And then there are tiebreak rules that are in the rule book. Now that is pretty much Splendor in a nutshell. Like I said, these cards that you can reserve are pretty cool. So you can either try to block someone and take it away, or you really want it, you don't want anyone else to buy it. You can sort of put it to the side. There's a lot of different ways to play it. A lot of people like to try to really stack up on these cheap green initial cards so that you have a really strong resource engine when you're going to buy other cards. But remember, that's going to take a lot of your turns up. Other people might try to stack up some coins, get some mid-level cards, just enough that they need to start buying the higher value cards, like the 4 and 5 cards, because obviously you'd only need 5 5-point cards and you win. Other people try to get as many stacking resources as you can to try to get as many nobles, because each one is worth 3 points, and that's pretty big in this game. A lot of different strategies, a lot of different ways to win, a lot of replayability. It is a really, really in-depth strategy game. It's very simple, but when you sit down and you play with several of your friends, no game is ever the same, and that's why I really like it. It was one of the best games of the year in 2014, won a lot of awards. It's easy to see why so many people like it. The gameplay is only about 30 minutes, and like I said, it's 2 to 4 people. It's a family-friendly game, ages 10 plus. I mean, even younger if they're on the ball and they can calculate and grasp onto everything. The theme is cool. The art is great. I love, I love these scenes. It sort of harkens you back to like a Middle East trader, and the streets and the all the different animals and things that they have on here. It's really cool, really well made. The box, actually, I'll open the box here. It's really cool. It stacks everything perfectly for you. I'll show you right here. Here's where you put. It comes with 10 nobles. You use 5 at a time. There's also little spots here for all the coins, and then place here to store all your cards. Everything goes neatly into the box. It's well made. Like I said, the cards are have a very nice finish on them, and these chips, I can't say enough about them. They're really great. They're really really well made. They hold up really well. I've played this game over 100 times, and these chips haven't even. They don't even look like there's not a scratch on any of them. So I can't recommend this game highly enough. It's Splendor. Go out and pick it up. It's a really, really great game. It's Nerdstravaganza approved.
Thank you, fans, for joining us for another Nerdstravaganza Reviews. If you'd like more Ganza goodness, why not subscribe to our channel? Visit our homepage, follow us on Twitter, and like us on Facebook.